We've gathered stories, read reports, and listened to the experiences of Black travelers from all over the globe to put together this list. Think of it as your travel cheat sheet, the inside scoop from the community, a heads up from one traveler to another. It's about sharing knowledge so we can all travel safer and smarter, making sure our adventures are memorable for all the right reasons. This is a must-watch for Black travelers. So before you book that non-refundable ticket to a place you've only seen in glossy brochures, let's talk. We're going to dive into some destinations where fellow Black travelers have reported facing everything from awkward stares to outright hostility. Again, this isn't a never go here list, but more of a, if you go here, be aware guide. Because being informed is the most powerful tool you can pack. It's about knowing the terrain so you can navigate it with confidence. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick things off with a country that's, shall we say, a bit of an acquired taste, especially for us. I'm talking about Russia. Now, you might see pictures of the Kremlin or the beautiful onion domes of St. Basil's Cathedral and think, wow, I need to see that. And you're not wrong, it's visually stunning. But the welcome you receive might be significantly less stunning. Many Black travelers, particularly those who have ventured outside the main tourist hubs of Moscow and St. Petersburg, have shared stories that are, well, chilling. And not just because of the Siberian winter. They talk about a level of racism that isn't subtle. It's not the "is he looking at me funny" kind of racism. It's the "yes, he's definitely looking at me funny, and now he's shouting" kind of racism. The experiences range from aggressive staring and open hostility to outright discrimination. Imagine trying to get a taxi and being ignored, or walking into a shop and feeling every single eye lock onto you with suspicion. These aren't isolated incidents, it's a pattern reported by many. The lack of diversity in many parts of the country means you can stick out in a way that feels less like a novelty and more like a target. It's a place where the cultural and social climate hasn't quite caught up to the idea of a global, multicultural world. So, while the architecture is grand, the social reception can feel incredibly small. It's a destination where you might spend more energy guarding yourself than enjoying the sights. Next up, we're heading to China, a country with an incredible history, amazing food, and landscapes that look like they're straight out of a movie. The Great Wall, the Terracotta Army, the bustling streets of Shanghai, it's a feast for the senses. But for Black travelers, it can also be a place of intense, and often bizarre, racial encounters. There have been numerous, and I mean numerous, accounts of racial profiling. It's a place where the curiosity about Black people can cross the line from innocent fascination into something that feels deeply uncomfortable and objectifying. People might stare, point, and even come up and touch your skin or your hair without asking. It's like you've suddenly become a walking, talking museum exhibit. And then there's the unsolicited photography. People will pull out their phones and start taking pictures of you as if you're a rare Pokemon they just have to catch. It happens on the subway, in the market, while you're just trying to eat a bowl of noodles. Beyond the strange curiosity, there have also been more serious reports, like Black people being denied entry into clubs, bars, or even hotels, especially during certain political tensions. The perception of Black people in China is often shaped by limited and stereotyped media portrayals, which can lead to some truly awkward and sometimes demeaning interactions. It's a place where you might feel less like a tourist and more like an alien who just landed. Ah, Italy, the land of pasta, Vespas, ancient ruins, and high fashion. It sells a dream of la dolce vita, the sweet life. And for many, it is. But for some Black travelers, this sweetness can come with a bitter aftertaste. While you're soaking in the beauty of the Colosseum or floating down a canal in Venice, you might also be soaking in some unwelcome prejudice. Particularly in certain regions, and sometimes even in the big cities, Black travelers have reported encountering a spectrum of racism, from subtle microaggressions to more overt, in-your-face moments. It's the kind of place where you might get accidentally skipped in line, or receive service that's noticeably frostier than what others are getting. These aren't just one-off bad days. There's a documented issue with racism in the country, often directed at African immigrants, that can easily spill over and affect Black tourists. You might hear derogatory comments muttered under someone's breath, or experience assumptions being made about you based on your skin color. It's the feeling of being treated like an outsider, in a way that goes beyond just being a tourist. It's a reminder that even in a place renowned for its warmth and passion, that warmth isn't always extended to everyone equally. So while you're enjoying your gelato, you might also have to stomach a side of prejudice. Let's talk about Greece. You probably picture the white and blue buildings of Santorini, the ancient Acropolis standing proud against the sky, and beaches with water so clear you can literally see your own reflection. It's the cradle of Western civilization, a place just absolutely steeped in history and mythology. But unfortunately, alongside those ancient wonders, some very modern problems exist. Reports from Black tourists in Greece paint a mixed picture. Some folks have incredible times, but a significant number encounter both subtle and overt forms of racism. It's not something you see in the travel brochures, but it's a reality for many. The issues can range from being treated with suspicion by shopkeepers to being outright ignored by service staff in restaurants. Some travelers have shared stories of being subjected to racial slurs or feeling an undercurrent of hostility, especially in areas with fewer tourists. The country has been dealing with complex issues around immigration and nationalism, and sadly, that tension can create an environment where anyone who looks different becomes a target for animosity. It's a strange paradox, visiting the birthplace of democracy while simultaneously feeling like you're being judged and excluded based on the color of your skin. So, it means that while you're marveling at ruins from 2,000 years ago, you might also be dealing with prejudices that really should have been left in the past. Now, this one comes with a huge asterisk for, well, pretty obvious reasons. Ukraine is currently a country facing immense challenges due to the ongoing war, and travel there is not advised for anyone. But even before the current conflict, it was a place where Black travelers reported feeling particularly unwelcome. The country's history and demographic makeup mean that it is just not very diverse. For a Black person, this lack of diversity can translate into a feeling of extreme visibility and isolation. You're not just a tourist, you're an event. Every eye is on you, and that attention is rarely born of simple, friendly curiosity. Many Black students and visitors who were in Ukraine before the war spoke of pervasive racism, from everyday microaggressions to more serious incidents of verbal and even physical harassment. There was a sense that the society was not equipped or willing to embrace multiculturalism. The social infrastructure and attitudes often left Black people feeling exposed and unsupported. With the current state of turmoil, these underlying tensions are likely exacerbated, making it an even more precarious environment. For now, and for the foreseeable future, the combination of a lack of diversity, pre-existing racial tensions, and the devastating realities of war makes Ukraine a place where Black travelers, and honestly most travelers, should exercise extreme caution. India. It's a country that honestly defies easy description. It's an explosion of color, sound, and life. From the majesty of the Taj Mahal to the spiritual energy of the Ganges River, it's a place that promises a truly transformative experience. But for Black travelers, that transformation can include learning how to deal with an overwhelming, and I really mean overwhelming, amount of staring. It's not just a glance, it's a deep, sustained, unblinking stare from men, women, and children. It can feel like you're the main attraction at a zoo, and it can be incredibly draining to endure day in and day out. And, it often doesn't stop at staring. Black travelers, both men and women, have shared countless experiences of being photographed without their consent. People will just walk up and put a camera right in your face. There are also widespread reports of colorism, which is a significant issue within Indian society itself. This can show up as suspicion, different treatment in shops, or assumptions being made about you. Some have even reported being followed, or being asked intrusive questions about their hair and skin. While much of this behavior may come from a place of naive curiosity, rather than actual malice, the impact is the same. It makes you feel othered, objectified, and constantly on display. Egypt is on so many bucket lists, and for good reason. The pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, the Valley of the Kings, you're literally walking through thousands of years of history. It's a mind-blowing experience. However, some Black travelers have found that alongside the ancient wonders, they've also had to navigate some modern-day frustrations. While Egypt is in Africa, the experience for Black travelers from other parts of the continent or the diaspora can be complicated. Many have reported instances of discrimination, intense haggling that feels targeted, and a level of harassment that goes beyond the usual tourist trap hustle. The comments can be particularly jarring. Some travelers report being called names or having people make monkey noises at them, things that are just shockingly racist. For Black women, the general harassment that all female travelers can face in Egypt is often compounded by racialized fetishization and specific unwelcome comments. There's a complex dynamic at play regarding identity, with some locals not identifying as African in the same way, which can lead to a sense of disconnect and othering. So, while you're there to connect with a powerful and ancient African civilization, you might find yourself facing attitudes that create a painful distance. Turkey is a fascinating country, sitting right at the crossroads of Europe and Asia. You get this incredible blend of cultures, history, and food. From the vibrant Grand Bazaar in Istanbul to the surreal landscapes of Cappadocia, it's a place that offers so much. But that crossroads can also be a place of friction. There are a growing number of accounts from Black travelers who have faced racial bias and uncomfortable situations. It's a country with a growing population of African immigrants, and the societal tensions surrounding this can unfortunately impact the experience of Black tourists. Reports include everything from being denied service at restaurants to being treated with suspicion by law enforcement or hotel staff. Some Black travelers have spoken about feeling hyper-visible and constantly scrutinized in a way that feels negative. You might walk into a shop and suddenly be followed by security, or notice that you're the only one being asked to show your ID. It's these small, cutting moments that can accumulate and taint your entire trip. While many people have a wonderful time in Turkey, it's important to be aware that for some of us, the welcome can be conditional and tinged with a bias that is hard to ignore. Let's head down to South America, to Argentina, the land of tango, steak, and passionate football fans. Buenos Aires is often called the Paris of South America for its European-style architecture and cosmopolitan vibe. But this European focus has a downside. Argentina has a history of systematically erasing its Afro-descendant population, promoting a national identity that is almost exclusively white and European. For a Black traveler, this can translate into an experience of profound isolation and curiosity that sometimes borders on the absurd. You might feel like the only Black person in the entire country. Because of this historical erasure, many Argentinians have very little interaction with or understanding of Black people. This can lead to a lot of staring, but also to a barrage of questions and comments rooted in stereotypes. People might assume you're from Brazil or the United States and be shocked to learn you're from anywhere else. They might make comments about your body or assume you're an athlete or a musician. While it's not typically aggressive, this constant need to explain yourself and confront stereotypes can be exhausting. It's a subtle but persistent form of othering that makes it hard to just blend in and enjoy the culture. You feel less like a person and more like a sociological phenomenon. Finally, we arrive in Japan, a country renowned for its safety, its cleanliness, its incredible efficiency, and its deep-rooted culture of politeness. And for the most part, that's exactly what you'll find. Japan is an amazing and generally very safe place to travel. However, for Black travelers, that politeness can sometimes be a mask for subtle forms of exclusion and othering. Japan is an extremely homogeneous society, and anyone who looks different stands out. But unlike the in-your-face staring you might get elsewhere, in Japan, it's more about quiet, persistent curiosity. You might find that the seat next to you on the train is always the last one to be filled. Or you might walk into a traditional inn or restaurant and feel a palpable shift in the atmosphere. A subtle panic as they try to figure out how to deal with a foreigner, especially a Black foreigner. There are stories of being refused service, but it's often done with a polite bow and a vague, untranslatable excuse. It's not aggressive racism. It's a discomfort with the unfamiliar that can make you feel like you're constantly on the outside looking in, separated by an invisible but very real wall. It's the feeling of being treated with impeccable politeness, but never with genuine inclusion. So, there you have it. A look at 10 countries where Black travelers have reported facing some unique challenges. Now, it is crucial to remember this. Travel is a deeply personal experience. For every person who had a negative encounter in one of these countries, there's someone else who had the time of their life and felt nothing but warmth and welcome. This list isn't a definitive judgment or a command to avoid these places forever. The world is complex, and people's experiences within it will always vary. Your journey will be your own, shaped by the people you meet, the places you go, and the attitude you bring with you. The goal here isn't to shrink your world, but to expand your awareness. The single most important thing you can do before visiting any country is to do your homework. Go beyond the travel blogs and look for the voices of other Black travelers. Find Facebook groups, watch YouTube vlogs, read articles from people who look like you and have walked the path before you. Try to connect with local Black communities or expat groups in the places you plan to visit. They can offer invaluable, on-the-ground advice that can completely transform your trip from one of uncertainty to one of confidence and connection. Ultimately, we should never let fear dictate our dreams of seeing the world. But we should absolutely let wisdom guide our steps. Being prepared for potential challenges doesn't make you pessimistic. It makes you a smart and empowered traveler. It allows you to navigate the world with your head held high, ready for whatever comes your way, and focused on soaking in all the beauty and wonder this planet has to offer. Knowledge is your passport to a better, safer journey. Stay safe, stay informed,